Thank you for joining our meeting. Thank you. Thank you for joining our meeting. My name is Eugene Mironenko. I am responsible for Trellix business at Softprom. I would like to introduce my colleagues, our today's speakers. Ayzada Kiderbekova, Regional Manager in Armenia and Georgia of Trellix. Ivan Yakovlev, Sales Engineer of Trellix. Our Cybersecurity Specialist, Movses Bagiryan. Also, I want to introduce my colleagues, Garigin Margaryan and Georgi Braladze. Guys, please share the video if you can. Also, I want to notify you that we will keep the record, and after our meeting, we will be sent if you need this record. If you have any questions during our webinar, please press the button hand or please write to the chat. So we are starting our event. I give the floor to Ayzada. Ayzada, you move. Please start.
Спасибо, Евгений, спасибо за хорошее представление. Я еще раз представлюсь. Меня зовут Айзада, я являюсь региональным представителем компании Trellix в странах Армении, Грузии, Украины и Центральной Азии. Спасибо вам большое, что нашли время и подключились на нашу серию вебинаров. Напомню, что это не единожды вебинар, а это будет целая серия, которая будет посвящена глубокой технической направленности на определенное какое-то наше решение. Эта серия будет проходить каждый вторник. То есть сегодня 22-го, следующий вторник будет проходить 29 ноября, следующий вторник будет проходить 6 декабря. Мы вас очень сильно призываем посетить все наши 3 вебинара, послушать наших технических специалистов про каждый наш продукт и начнем с того, что такое этот логотип Trellix. Очень, наверное, многие из вас уже знают, что это не простой производитель какого-то определенного решения. Мы предоставляем полностью комплексный подход к информационной безопасности. Компания Trellix образовалась на базе объединения McAfee Enterprise и FireEye. У McAfee своя отдельная богатая история. Более 30 лет, когда мы начали с производителя маленького антивирусного решения и доросли до огромного вендора, который предлагает на рынке комплексную архитектуру по защите информации. Именно поэтому в 2014 году нами заинтересовалась компания Intel, и они стали нашими соучредителями. В начале этого года наши инвесторы, наши лидеры решили еще больше обогатить функционал McAfee Enterprise, объединившись с компанией FireEye под новым логотипом Trellix. Сейчас Trellix существует и позиционирует себя как производитель XDR-архитектуры, о которой мы поговорим чуть позже. Мы заточены только на защиту корпоративных пользователей, и в основном мы предлагаем наземные решения. Параллельно появилась компания SkyHigh, которая наша сестринская компания, она находится тоже в нашем холдинге, и она более нацелена на защиту облачных платформ, облачных решений, облачных ресурсов и так далее. А самый прекрасный и красивый красненький логотип McAfee мы оставили физическим пользователям, то есть в защите домашних компьютеров. На сегодняшний день все 3 логотипа успешно существуют, они нацелены на определенный сектор защиты информации, на обеспечение информационной безопасности на определенных клиентов, и мы все существуем, так сказать, постоянно на рынке информационной безопасности. Потому что мы верим, что производитель, который называет себя вендор в кибербезопасности, он должен быть нацелен только на одно, то есть только на производство, на исследование, на разработку решений по защите информации. Информационная безопасность в нашем сердце, в нашей душе, и мы верим, что мы делаем хорошее дело, и мы очень рады, что у нас есть такие классные локальные партнеры, лояльные, сертифицированные, с огромным опытом в Армении, в Грузии. Мы приносим еще раз благодарность нашим существующим клиентам, которые доверили нам защиту своих данных, защиту своих процессов. И также призываем наших новых потенциальных клиентов уделить внимание, посмотреть, чем же отличается наше решение от конкурентов, как мы совместно можем повысить уровень вашей защиты информации и вместе быть успешными. У нас очень богатая линейка решений. Мы обеспечиваем безопасность как от маленького endpoint устройства, да, это может быть рабочая станция, там, сервер там, и так далее, вот, до комплексных внедрений таких масштабных решений, как CM, как системы предотвращения вторжений, системы предотвращения утечки конфиденциальных данных. Так как у нас огромная существующая база клиентов, некоторые наши уже существующие клиенты иногда не осознают весь тот потенциал нашего функционала, который у них уже имеется. Именно для этого мы организовали в такое интересное время, когда уже осень уходит, а зима еще не пришла, для вас эту серию вебинаров. Сегодня она будет посвящена защите конечных точек. Далее у нас будет посвящена решениям EDR и решениям DLP. Еще раз повторюсь, приходите, участвуйте во всех 3 вебинарах 22 и 29 ноября, а также 6 декабря. Задавайте вопросы, присылайте нам свои какие-то идеи, участвуйте в квизе розыгрыше, выигрывайте хорошие призы. И на этом у меня все. Я далее передаю слово Ивану. Правильно?
Возможно.
Да.
Добрый день, коллеги. Так, а какой язык мы используем? Давайте определимся. Эники-веники, еле-вареники.
If you can, please use English.
Yes. I think that's better to use English so anyone can understand what's going on. So we won't exclude anyone, including ourselves. So let's dig a bit deeper into the technical part of things. So thanks, Aizada. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to start this session of webinars, and we have first session today, and then it will be another 2 coming in next 2 weeks. So let me share my screen first, and then we can continue with agenda for today and what is going to happen. Let me share my screen now.
Yeah, we can see Trellix Cybersecurity talk. Yeah.
Okay, that's a full size screen, right? Not my
Full size
presentation. Okay, perfect. Yeah, as mentioned, so today we're going to talk quite technically about basically 2 subjects, and the most important one is our centralized console with the name ePolicy Orchestrator. There's some details, some nuances, and good value you can have using this system. It can be sometimes complex, but if you know what you're doing, it's quite straightforward and simple to use. And yeah, we're going to cover some benefits as well. So I'll be covering the most theoretical part of this session, and then we have also Moses, who is going to cover with a practical demonstration the actual environment and some scenarios that we can show you that we prepared today. So that's both of us. I'm coming from Trellix, and Moses is from Softprom. Yeah, let's take a look on the agenda. And by the way, if you have any questions, I think the best way would be to put it in Q&A, right? So we can see it, and then we can follow up if it's not yet answered. It would be a bit easier, but you can use chat as well, and also you can raise a hand, so we can answer. You can have your question asked in English or in Russian or in any language, so we can kind of hear it aloud and then respond immediately. If it's probably more complicated question, it will be easier. But yeah, anyway, feel free to ask. We're here to make it clear for everyone. So yeah, just for agenda for today, we have this welcome speech that is just have been done already by Azada, and then we are looking for a bit of solution introduction part when we cover what is EPO and what is supposed to do, why we need to use it. Then we cover architecture of it, right? How it works and what components are there. Then we switch to a demo, to a live environment. Then we'll cover a bit endpoint protection because, well, it's critical and it's kind of the most basic thing you can expect, but still it's needed, right? You can't really go without it. So yeah, it could be kind of presumed, right, that we have it, but at the same time, it's really critical to have. Then we can answer everything that was not answered before, and then please stay with us until the very end. We'll have a quiz there. So yeah, we have some good challenging questions for you, and we expect really good answers. So yeah, feel free to stay until the end and win the prizes. That's an important part as well. So let's start. And by start, we're going to cover a bit solution introduction. I'm not going to stay too much on this, right? So it's kind of overall information. Why exactly, right? What is the reason to use this type of centralized consoles? Well, because we see there are a lot of technologies in security space, and for everything, you need a dedicated console. And even if you have best of the breed, like the best of the best system, still, if you have too many of them, you need to educate yourself. You need to spend time to figure out how to actually manage it. So visibility is lost in the process, and it's very time consuming as well. And the chance of error is much higher in this case. And you won't see all the details in one place, right? So you can't really combine things together, even if it's SIEM, right? So not all SIEM consoles are actually collecting all the details the same way as it's done in a native console. So it's kind of also very preferable to actually to use the same one, the same console, the same system to have actually better visibility over what's going on and combine all these components together. So basically on our surveys, we know that a lot of our customers use at least 10 and usually more than 10 consoles for security. Of course, it's also can be related to different teams, to different operations, but still in many cases we see in our customers, it's not a huge team, right? It can be just few people who are responsible for security in general, right? So it's just not possible to use multiple consoles. It's just not bearable. So what we have is basically this idea of common view, right? And for many years we were developing this functionality, these capabilities, and I'm going to talk a bit more detailed later. But still, it's probably good idea to understand that it was a long journey. Of course, we started with on-prem, and now we have more options for you. Of course, not everything can be managed through the same console, but we have quite a lot of options to achieve this. So yeah, let's see. And also, what's important with the same console, we have these benefits of acting faster, right? So basically, everything we do is to discover threats as fast as possible, to block if it's possible, if we know it's definitely something bad, right? If it's a bad type of activity, if it's suspicious enough, right? If we have doubts, right? So we have other tools to understand a bit deeper details about the behavior, about what exactly is going on, what has been done by this software, and how to actually protect against this. And then we have a way to automate it as well, right? To save time, to act as fast as possible, to get a better mean time to response and to mitigate threats. So it's kind of obvious benefits that we have using the same console. And then what we try to achieve is an open platform approach, right? So we're not limiting you by using only Trellix or Trellix M or Trellix F, right? And by the way, I'm going to talk mostly about Trellix M, right? Because as I mentioned, now we combine together, we merge together with FireEye, and this year we're not really providing you too much information from perspective of FireEye, but mostly from McAfee as it used to be before. But yeah, it's going to change. It's going to change next year when we will be finally the same company with the same portfolio, with the same stack of everything. But at the same time, that's what we wanted to achieve over many years, and that's our strategy in the long run, to have our platform open and extensible, right? So you can extend it by different functionality, because one vendor, even with huge portfolio, and we have a really big one, it's just not possible to cover everything, all the security features, all the capabilities that are available on the security side, in the security space. And yeah, over the years, if you're familiar with McAfee, with technologies we have, we were very good with integration with different platforms. We have our open protocol to integrate. All right, so we have this DXL protocol mentioned, which is basically open source. You can you can develop your own applications that can use it. And basically the idea is to share reputation, right? To share reputation between different systems with different vendors, with different solutions. So you can see and share this reputation and then act on it, right? If you know file is blocked by one system, you can share this information with other systems and block it same way in the other pieces, right? So just randomly selecting, maybe with Infoblox, which is a vendor dedicated to DNS security. So you can kind of share data that you have from your firewall on the perimeter and use this information to block DNS in your environment for your users. So that could be very, very powerful to share reputation, to share this information about threats. And over the years also we had this integration to manage Microsoft solutions. We had this BitLocker management for many, many years, when basically we can manage BitLocker from our system, from our centralized console, to ensure encryption is enabled, and you have all required information, and you know that keys are kept safe, and if user will need to recover, so it would be possible, right? So we have this integration with BitLocker, Firewall from Apple. So basically encryption can be covered by our solution. And same with Microsoft Defender, right? We can manage Microsoft Defender with our own antivirus, basically. Well, not really antivirus, but EPP solution, but still, right? We can use Microsoft Defender and cover all the basic signatures, right? Signatures would be coming as updates with Windows, but we can also add our ATP functionality, advanced threat protection, to apply our machine learning and to block all the bad stuff, right? To block more advanced threats with it. And still we can manage it with our e-policy orchestrator with its central management system. Also, we have a way to manage workloads and security in workloads for AWS and Azure. And then for Docker, we can also introduce some level of security, right? If you have environment that is in Docker, so yeah, we have also additional ways to integrate with it and to ensure its security. Okay, let's move on. So what's different, right? So what options do you have, right? At the moment, we have 3 options. So first one is kind of traditional approach with on-prem, fully 100% on-prem system. You can use it 100% segregated from internet, from everything, from every other network. So just within the network segment, you can use ePolicy Orchestrator, and as long as you have network visibility, you can communicate with endpoint machines, and then just deploy any type of software, or well, I mean, software coming from us, but actually there is also a way to deploy any type of software. Probably it's not really best way to do. Some systems are better suitable for that when they are dedicated to use it, to distribute software. But yeah, you can achieve it also with on-prem EPO. There is functionality called EEDK that you can use it to distribute software as well, any type of software. But of course, as long as you have Trellix agent or McAfee agent that is used to be known, so you can choose what modules you want to have on those machines, right? And it can be a very diverse set of technologies you can deploy. Then another option that was introduced, I would say about 4 years ago, even more, I think it was 2017, when we introduced our version of cloud managed ePolicy Orchestrator. So it's not first version, but that's a really working properly version now. Right? We had also previously EPO cloud. We had previously EPO different version. I think it was called even EPO SaaS at some stage, but now it's rebranded Envision EPO. Now it's called as Trellix EPO SaaS, right? So that's basically a service that is provided to you, so you don't need to have any type of servers, or you don't need some infrastructure to run ePolicy Orchestrator itself, right? So you can use just a service, and you can have pretty much everything ready in a couple of hours. Just enable it and then use it to ensure security for endpoint machines. And then something in between, right? So this version is ePolicy Orchestrator that can be provided as on cloud infrastructure on AWS or Azure. So for example, in AWS, we have a template that you can use, right? So from market space, you can choose kind of pre-built version of EPO with everything ready, right? With database ready, with everything prepared. So you can just enable it, and then you can bring your own license from on-prem EPO and use it pretty much same way as a standard on-prem EPO, right? So you'll have much more control than in case of SaaS, right? SaaS version, and SaaS version is kind of a bit more simplified, I would say. Not all functionality of on-prem EPO are already available there, and not all the same products are also covered by SaaS version. But with on-prem and EPO on infrastructure as a service, you can have pretty much all the usual modules, all the extensions, everything you have usually with on-prem EPO. So that's kind of a way to achieve the same results, but with much more control over the environment, but also with more responsibility as well. Because in case of SaaS, pretty much everything is managed by McAfee or by Trellix M, I would say, by our team. A bit more details on that, right? So yeah, just as a comparison, what is the difference? So with a traditional one, it can take some efforts, especially when you need to ensure a database is used and you have it connected and you have all the credentials. You can communicate with your colleagues from server department, for example, to ensure database is available and its communications are fine with it. For AWS, it's quite fast. It's very fast, right? You just need to use your template from AWS, and then with service, it's basically immediately, right? So as long as you have access, as long as you have license, you can start using it like immediately, pretty much immediately. Even with trial, right? So when you want to use a trial of cloud version, so you just complete a form and then you have access immediately, right? So that would be just a couple of minutes to complete a short form to actually have it up and running, and then basically you have all functionality of cloud version of EPO. And we have quite a lot of modules. We have quite a lot of modules already available, right? As in case with on-prem EPO, you have all products and products from our partners that can be integrated within EPO. But in case of cloud, well, we have quite a lot of modules. It's not only INS, it's not only Trellix Endpoint, but we have a lot of different modules. We have also DLP, we have encryption, we have device control, we have EDR, we have also client proxy to integrate with web gateway, but it should be prepared, right? It should be, all the versions are prepared by our cloud team on the backend. But of course, you have your personal tenant as well, right? So your data is kept separately from everything, and SLAs are very good for that. It's very high SLA, but at the same time, you don't have full visibility over backend, and if you need to go down deep and troubleshoot, so it won't be really possible. You would need to engage with our support in case of cloud-based EPO. But of course, with on-prem, you can have all the fun, and you can use all the tools to troubleshoot, to go deeper, to maintain database as well. But it would be part of your duties as well, you know, to ensure database is safe, it's fine, there is enough storage, right? So this type of things need to be covered fully by you. Yes, that's a primary difference. And let's talk a bit more about the actual architecture of EPO. So when we talk about on-prem, or the one that is deployed in infrastructure as a service, so that's a basic components that we have, right? EPO is a bit different from server-side software, but it's software, right? So first of all, it's software that you install on top of a server. That's going to be Windows server. We have a list of supported platforms, of course, and we have also some prerequisites that you need to follow, but it's software, right? So you can just install it on a virtual machine or a hardware. It doesn't matter, right? So as long as you have your environment, you can install this software to be up and running on your environment. And as long as you have network visibility, as you have connectivity to your machines, so we can communicate and basically manage your machines. So there is additional component called agent handler. So when you have a relatively small environment, this agent handler component is integrated into the same ePolicy orchestrator, into the main server. So this component is basically dealing with communications with agent, right? So we ask them frequently from time to time if they have any events from us, but it's agent handler that is actually doing these communications with agents, right? You can have your secondary one, right? So you can also deploy additional agent handler. So that's also an option. For example, if you want to have communications over internet directly, so what you can do, you can deploy it in DMZ area, and then you can have connections to your home users. And so if your users are working from home, we can have these real-time connections, communications with the agent handler So for those scenarios when you don't want to enable VPN all the time, right? So you won't need to enable VPN for your home users to connect to EPO over the VPN, right? So instead, you can use agent handler in DMZ and then communicate over internet directly with machines that can be located anywhere in the world. So yeah, we have also detailed guides how to do it, and yeah, that's it was done over the pandemic times by many customers. So it's very good way to achieve this. And also another use case for agent handler is high availability, right? So if you have multiple agent handlers, so your client machines would be communicating to them, so you can scale, right? So you can have a lot of systems communicating to agent handlers. So basically, tens of thousands machines can communicate with agent handlers. So less load would be than on EPO. But very important consideration is to have agent handler in your primary data center. It's not really good idea to deploy it in a remote location. It's not, because you need to have agent handler close to your SQL database, because agent handler will be communicating to SQL a lot, right? So you need to have really low latency, and there should be no delays communicating to SQL server. So that's why it's not for it's not to be deployed in remote locations. It needs to be close to your main database. Okay, so what other components do we have? So SA, right? So the answer for remote repositories or for secondary servers is super agent. So basically, if you have a remote office, it can be a large site, it could be a relatively small office, but still, if you have it, if you have a big office, so you don't really need to install another EPO, right? No need, right? So you have your primary EPO, and then this EPO will be communicating with your agents, even if they're located in different region, in different area, and we need, in most cases, super agent, right? So that's kind of a concept that we have for many years, when you can nominate one of the agents, just one of the usual agents that are communicating with agent handler, to be super agent, right? So this super agent can act as a repository for your software. So when you send an update to your remote site, so you won't be spreading this to all the endpoint machines, but you need to copy it only to repository, super agent. And then super agent will communicate to other machines in the same site.
Иван?
Наверное, какие-то технические проблемы, Ивана.
Colleagues, we can pass to technical part. Moses, so if you're ready, let's start the demo. I think Ivan already.
Back, yeah.
I'm here. No need for demo yet.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
a lot of theory to cover. Sorry,
Absolutely.
I had some interruptions in my internet connection. So yeah, when we were talking about these infrastructure components, right? So we have also these additional components that are kind of optional. You can use them. So TIE server is to keep your local reputation, right, about all the files you've seen in the environment. And by files, I mean executable files mostly, right? So we'll keep a reputation if we saw these files. So yeah, we can just ask, right? We can ask if we seen this before, and if file is bad, we can just block it, right, and delete it. If it's good, so yeah, we just allow it to run. So that can be very handy to have as well. And then peer-to-peer, right? So I think we have kind of more information on that peer-to-peer a bit later, but the concept is when you have your super agent, you can share this data with different agents using peer-to-peer communications, right? So even if it's not super agent, even if it's just usual agent, but you have this feature enabled, so agent can share a software, mostly updates, because it's a majority of how big the file is for updates. So you won't be communicating to internet, you'll get it just from your neighbor, right? So that's much faster way. Okay, let's move on. And you can see my screen, right? So everything's fine. I just don't see my red frame. Okay, let's assume it's fine. So yeah, if you want to get a better availability, so we can have different things to provide it with, right? So the most common way to have HA, for example, for your ePolicy orchestrator, is to have it deployed on a Windows server, right? And Windows server can use high availability options, and then we can just sit on top of the just common Windows high availability options. If you can run a cluster of Windows servers, that's totally fine with us. We can sit with our software on top of it, right? So then we can forward events to SIEM, right? And then you can use also incident response tools within the same system, the same console, or you can use other tools, because there are quite a lot of different options for security operations in general, but it can be also part of the investigation process. It can be different roles, right? Because we have roles and different privileges for different users. So we can also separate a specific team, right, with different set of permissions, right? So that's also can be a way to do this. And then you can also restrict who got access, who can connect, who cannot, right? So everything is there to actually get a better mean time to remediate and to respond. So that's what we do. Also, it's a good idea to have maybe different network segments, right? So if you have this distributed infrastructure, so probably different network segments can be covered by even different EPO if you need it. If some segments need to be fully isolated, so it's okay for us, even from licensing perspective, to have multiple EPOs. And then we can also integrate them between each other. So for example, if you have access to one EPO from another, so you can share some content. And for example, you can migrate some users from one console to another, and you can share some events, some data, some pre-built content from one EPO to another if it's needed. But it's not really for high availability. It's just for sharing of some security policies, security practices, and host information. Also, quite a good idea is to have a set of machines, kind of, if you need to travel, right? If some laptops to be traveling, so you'll need to have also a set of DXL brokers to better communicate between different sites, right? So to share real-time information between them, because starting with the recent versions of EPO, you can use DXL broker not only for threat intelligence exchange, not only to keep the reputation about files, but also for EPO communications, to make your agent communications real time. Right, so that's available as well. Okay, let's move on. So what's the situation in case of SaaS, right? EPO SaaS, which is our cloud version. So that's quite straightforward, right? So all your agents, they communicate with the cloud directly, right? Using port 443, right? So usual HTTPS connections. so you don't really need to open any specific additional ports, right? So we use just 443, nothing else. Then if you have like a bigger site, a major site, so also there's some considerations, but we can updates and updates can be shared by peer-to-peer, right? So you don't need to worry that all your machines are going to internet and upload a lot of updates. So that's probably quite straightforward when first machine will download it, and then you can use peer-to-peer to share it between different systems. So yeah, downstream just policies and client tasks, right? When you need to download it, and then up only events and properties from machines will be sent. Of course, you can also add your SIM to pull data from your tenant, from your private tenant in cloud environment, because of all your logs, all your information, of course, will be kept in your multi-tenant environment, in your specific tenant that is dedicated only to you. No one else will be seeing this data, of course. And then you can also use e-policy orchestrator, on-prem e-policy orchestrator, and integrate it with cloud version to, for example, migrate data, migrate your users, migrate your policies, so the data will be kept in the cloud. And then you can start using cloud to manage everything. So that's very straightforward in this case, right? So it's mostly direct communications with the cloud, but you need to ensure your port 443 is open, and also it's a good idea not to enable HTTPS decryption, not to intervene in communications between your client machines and cloud, right? So that's kind of usual, but still it's better to be cautious if you have some proxy, or if you have something in between. In case of infrastructure, right? So that's a bit more complicated, of course, you can imagine, right? But also it's very similar to on-prem situation. You can have multiple availability zones, right? As in case of AWS. I won't spend too much time on this. From what I hear, it's not really used too much in our region. So yeah, let's just assume it's very similar to what we have with on-prem EPO, but also we use availability zones, right? So if you use multiple zones, you can also switch between them, right, for better availability. And we use database from Amazon as well, right? RDS is used, so you don't need to maintain it yourself. So we can just use it with auto scaling, with all the cool features from
Иван,
AWS.
прошу прощения, у нас еще Мовсес, пожалуйста, временные рамки не забывай. Спасибо большое.
Да. У меня еще буквально, сейчас я проверю. У меня еще есть несколько слайдов. Да, давайте двигаться.
Иван, простите, и есть
да.
вопрос, обратите
О,
внимание.
отлично, давайте посмотрим. Так, сейчас я найду чат. Именно в чате или в Q&A?
Да, в чате.
So this comes with a standard version. Well, yeah, I would say so. It depends on your licensing, right? So if you have a current subscription licenses, so you have all three types of EPO available to you. So usually these licenses, they called envision something, MV1, MV2, MV6, right? So as long as you have these subscription licenses, you have all three options, right? So you can use any of those. But yeah, when we talk about on-prem infrastructure, so that's much more complicated. It's a really interesting concept that we have, right? As I mentioned, we have these agent handlers that are most critical to do all the communications with your client machines. But then remember that you need to have it close to SQL Server because we need to have them communicating in standard SQL ports. But it would be needed, right? So EPO server, there is integrated agent handler in EPO, but you may prefer not to use it and use agent handler instead. Yeah, and then a couple of things to get your reputation updates. So instead of allowing your client machines go directly For reputation checks, you can use intermediate Thai server for it, right? So reputation, all reputation will be kept in Thai server, and then only communications, GTI communications would be done only by this Thai server if you prefer it this way. And there are a lot of cool things we can highlight here, but yeah, time is limited, unfortunately. So let's move on. So repository considerations, I just keep it in this slide deck because there could be different ways, right? Because repositories are quite important in terms of bandwidth, right? So if you want to have all the repositories centralized, that's fine, right? You can pull the updates from the same repositories in the central area, or you can use also access to our cloud just to pull data directly from our cloud. And then you can use super agent to distribute this data to a remote site, right? Which is also very good way, and it's recommended in many cases. So you don't need a secondary EPO, but you need a architecture of super agents. Okay, so I won't talk too much about repositories, right? But it's also quite interesting how you can share this data between different regions. So let's continue. I think I have another. Yeah, and that's how it resonates, right? So you can use this strategy approach A, B, or C, right? So A would be your main, right? Your main hub, and then another B would be direct communications with our cloud-based system, and C is basically super agent, right? So you can use all of them, or you can choose what would be better for your environment. Yeah, I'll keep this in a presentation, so you'll get your slides after the session, so you can revisit it and get a kind of some updates on this. And then peer-to-peer, right? So as I mentioned, peer-to-peer is very good to have, right? And also we have this way to just update machines. So as long as you have one machine with updates, these updates can be shared to other machines, to more machines in your environment. And then you have this all the machines updated, right? It can be all type of systems, laptops, workstations, virtual machines, or servers. Anyway, you'll get these updates from your neighbors. So you don't need to communicate to agent handler, right? So that would be less communications, less load, and better bandwidth, right? And randomization is a really good option. So then about documentation, so where to find documentation? So that's we have all the documentation combined together on docs portal, docs.trellix.com, right? So if you need to find some details about EPO, so for on-prem, we have this section. For SaaS version, we have also similar section with a lot of details, right? And these details could be a lot of different topics, some best practices, some good reference links. So yeah, that's a kind of central hub for on-prem as an example. And then really good considerations also about sizing, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but if environment is relatively small, so you can use just one virtual machine, and virtual database server could be even on the same machine as your EPO, so that's also fine in that case. You don't really need any distributed repositories and no additional agent handlers, right? So everything can be very easy and straightforward. But if you have more machines, so that can be a good idea to have a dedicated hardware, to have a separate database, and so on. Some requirements as well for different versions of EPO. So the most recent one is 5.10 EPO, update 15. So yeah, just mind it's better to use not legacy versions of Windows Server. Everything that is new is supported. And then where to get software. So first of all, you get your grant information about your licenses in a welcome letter that you receive when you get some licenses. And then we have this portal, downloads/my products. So you can put your grant number, your email address, and download it from there, right? So when you enter your grant number, you'll see your license for EPO. Just a sec. You'll have this key, right? And then you can use this EPO key and put it in your EPO server, and then have all your updates automatically done in your EPO. Okay, and then if you need to find as actual software, it's also located there. right? And you can use some filters to find the management solutions, and EPO version 5.10 would be there. So you can also filter by installation package, and then have your ePolicy orchestrator version 5.10, and then deploy the most current updates. Like update 15 is the most current from just released last week. So you can deploy it to have rebranding from McAfee to Trellix finally, right? Because it won't be included in this one. Yeah, so yeah, that's a way to install it and then update it. It can find in if any updates are needed or not. So basically, there's the same file, the same distributive you can use for updates. I think that's time now. So that's my slides so far. So that's time for demo now. So thanks for your attention. I can answer some questions in the chat or in Q&A section.
Thank you
so
very much, Ivan. Thank you very much. Let's do a little bit.
Like nearly half, right? Nearly half the time.
Yeah,
we have hour and a half. So yeah, that would be more
highly
than enough.
appreciated, man. So let's go to a quiz if you if you're agree with it, guys.
Cool.
Yeah. Would Gargan, would you please just describe a little bit about it? About the quiz. I will share this from my computer.
Hello guys, we prepared some gifts for you, and Moses will ask you simple questions, and then we'll try to receive the answers from you. Who will answer first will receive the gift. We prepared two parts for these quizzes. First will be right now. The second part will be in the end of the Moses demo presentation, and the gifts will be different. Now we will start from the board games, desktop games. So this is it. Moses, please, where is your first question?
So guys, the answers people should write in the chat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so who will write first in the chat? So we will monitor that.
Okay. So here's the first question.
Yeah.
How can we check the file reputation without directly connecting to GTI?
Global Threat Intelligence, our cloud database, which are holding information about malware, about viruses, about malicious domains and others. So GTI is Global Threat Intelligence provided.
And let's see who's answering.
Rafael, virus total local IT file.
Just reminding you that we are talking about what we are providing.
What tools Trellix provide to check it without GTI? What the component of the EPO or the
Trellix
infrastructure?
So read the Trellix answer.
Local IT file. TI
No,
file.
local.
TI.
Yeah, maybe. Nicholas from Georgia.
Yes,
so maybe I'm going to next slide.
Okay, we have some
showing you a little bit. So you can choose the answer from here.
So do we have winner?
Most of the answers are already.
We have the answer. Yeah, Nicholas and Felix.
All of these answers we have already in one way or another.
Yeah.
So who is the winner?
Which is
actually, there is some
answer?
spelling wrong with Felix answer and Nicholas.
Okay, so we have two winners.
I can say.
I think Felix was very first,
and Sean,
not 100% precise.
spelling. Yeah.
Okay,
Tie
because of
without E.
spelling, we need to give 2 prizes. Okay, we will.
Yeah, we have 2 winners, so we need to send 2 prizes here.
Okay.
Okay, so
So-
just can you one more time send the names of winners that our marketing
Yeah.
write it.
Felix Randilian and Nicolas
Sikraouli.
Siklauri.
Okay,
So,
so
Yeah,
congratulations.
congratulations, guys. So
congratulations.
let's go to second question. Okay.
Mhm.
What is the secure port for agent server communication?
You see it in the slides Ivan provided.
Yeah. All the answers are just okay. Felix Randalian answered. Four, 4, 3. Sean,
Maybe
4,
other
4, 3.
options. Okay, more of them.
Actually, yeah, again, Felix is beating everything. So yeah, the answer is 4, 4, 3.
Well done. It was
Well
very
done,
fast.
Felix.
So
Well
who
done.
was Georg Boyajan?
Felix.
No,
No,
Felix.
Felix Randalian. Randilian.
Why? I don't see the answer from Felix. Do you?
I see the answer.
Yeah?
Felix and
Thank you.
Georg.
Sorry for the missing letter E. The answer is 4, 4, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
Again,
all?
Correct answer is 443.
Felix and Sean
Yeah.
and Georg Boyajian.
Yeah, but who was the
No,
first
no,
one?
no. Sean and Felix. Felix was the first one.
Okay, so Felix wins second prize.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's right.
And second, Sean, Felix already win a prize. Let's cheer Shant, who
Yeah,
was the
Shant
second,
Kazarian.
and give the second prize to Shant. I think this will be fair enough. Okay.
Absolutely.
And Felix will not mind, I think. Yes, Felix Chan. Okay, guys. So we
Thank
have.
you. Thank you. Congratulations. We can continue. Mhm.
So we
Congratulations,
have
Shant
the
Nazarian.
first part of the quizzes. So
You're not sharing.
we know
you're not
the
sharing
winners.
Moses.
Yeah, I'm sharing again. So here we go. Once again, thanks a lot, Ivan, for
Thanks a
very
lot, guys.
detailed information, and thanks our partners and customers to answering this. So it's showing that your description about all these products were really fluently understandable, and it is just delivered, I can say. Let's go a little bit deep to the product. So we chose on-prem option of the endpoint security and EPOL. So let's see first how we deploying and managing a repo. First, for the deployment, we saw some screenshots. So just showing something here for how we are doing the patch, for example. When we are getting the patch from the download side by our grant number and email, we can download the patch from there and run it, just as easy it is. We are adding the database username, the database DB admin user here. And first, we have to stop these 3 for Tomcat, event parser, and Apache server. Then continuing the patching. So this is how it's go. And as you can see, there is no need to update here because I already done it. For the next patch, which is patch 15, it is patch 14. So if I would patch to 15, we will see all the things here adding to the new features, new updates, and all the things here, and just going to finish by some clicks. Let's see how our database is working. So again, by the same user, you can see the database is created during the installation, during the deployment of the EPO. We are creating the main database and the events in a separate way. And it is very easy to manage. And also, if you want to do some backup and some maintenance things, you can use the SQL agent and do this as far as your company 100% have some policy for that. So you can use this as well. And here we go, what we have here for our database. So I think there is not a lot of things to talk about this. Let's go to the EPO. As I said, we are connecting to the database from this server to that database. Actually, it is different time by time. We are using the dedicated servers for the database. This is happening when we are we are covering a lot of a lot of clients, more than maybe 5,000. So in that case, it prefers to use the dedicated database server. So for this demo, I used both on a single system, so it can work on a single system as well. As you can see in Support Center from EPO. So this is the main page of the EPO orchestrator. Okay, so you're connecting to the EPO with this port, writing the IP address or the host name, and connecting to the EPO by port of 8443. Okay, so from here we can find the support center, and from the support center in real time, I can say you can see all the events, all the informations with the system, the host, the database, and the Apache server. So in our case, both are in the same system. And even you can see the system health here. You can see the database activities and so on. Even we can filter it with this. So these are all the things, all the activities, all the file transactions in the database, and so on. And even we can see what kind of fails we had. So let's filter it and see what we did, what you have it here. So even parser, the service. So during some test, I tried to restart these servers, and these are all logged here. You can audit everything from here. Okay. So also in Support Center, we are directly getting online notification from the McAfee or about the all news, product informations, different references, and even the support. For example, the search support, we are, I don't know, supported platform. We will see all the articles here that it can be useful for us. We can search it here, and directly from the EPO we can just receive the information which we are searching. Okay, so for some more information about the things that we are, let's consider that we are going to doing some deep analyze what is happening inside of the EPO host. So first we have to know where are the logs just stored. So In the EPO system, inside of the ePolicy orchestrator installation driver, you can find inside of server and logs, the Orion log, for example. Okay, so inside of this log, you will see a lot of information, all the things related to the EPO and the services are storing here. For some deep analyzing and diagnostics, you can refer to this log as well. And even if you want some higher level of logs, for example, you can choose, where was that here? Yeah, you can change your log level as well. Okay, for example, you can add, change it, actually modify that to debug. Then you will receive a debug, but I'm not recommending this just for diagnostic and some trace logs. You can use this. Okay, so I'm not saving it for sure. But anyway, after saving this, you have to restart your services as well. Just keep in your mind. So let's go to the user interface. On the first page, we have protection workspace. Inside of here, we can see all the logs on the compliance and all the events and escalations happened in our environment. So from here, you can see more detail about each event, which is critical for us. We have to analyze it and so on. We will come back to this for monitoring more the events later. And also we have the dashboard. There are a lot of predefined dashboards here that's very useful and very helpful to going through the events and the problems. So we can choose different type of this. Just for example, let's go to some here, for example, EPO summary. So in here, you will see your server, the EPO orchestrator, are getting update all the DAT files, signatures, and so on. From here, you will see that we are good in, and we are connected to the to our server, to our update server of Trellix or not. Every day, these numbers had to be changed. And from here, we will know that we are updated or not. Okay. And also some lot of dashboards that we are coming back to this again for see some more detail about it. But let's come to this, that all these dashboards are manageable. You can also make your personal dashboard as well by choosing some queries or mixing some queries or even creating some queries. Okay, so for example, I just created some queries here. Let's see how we are making these queries. So what I made is about some actions which I want to see, filtering this with malware, and it belongs to operations. So we are able to change this to anything you are just following. Okay, so for example, let's run this one. After running this, we will receive the information based on the queries we just created. So how many Trojans, test. This is talking about the types of I can say attacks or malwares which we found, and we can monitor this. Also, we can use all these queries inside of some reports. Even you can make your report in a most personal way, which you want. And I think for the queries, it is enough. We can check also how we are managing our users to connecting to this page. So now I'm connected by the admin user. So the admin user have all the privilege. We can create queries, we can delete queries, we can make sorting of our system tree with users, deploying, checking the policies, adding new policies, and so on. But we have also have different type of users. For example, some audit user cannot are not allowed to change some administrative things here. So we are making different permission set for some specific activities which they have to do, and make some group for them. For example, group reviewer, they're just reviewing things. Some insight users who are checking the insights, and the global reviewer. So let's check what we made. Also, if I'm not forget, yeah. So also we can add the domain users and the domain authentication for users can be enabled inside of the EPOS. So the domain user even can log in here, and by this actually settings, this is very easy to check. First, we are making we are registering our domain from the registered server. We are adding the Active Directory here. Then we are enabling that from the server setting, and it is ready to go. So let's do this from here. For example, I have an administrator user. So this is the alias name for him, the username which we are going to use, but this is Windows authentication, and we are not adding some password here. The user is using the same password as he's using inside of the domain authentication. So let's connect with that user. Okay, as you can see, a little bit different here. Some options are missing. Going to catalog, doing the new policy, and I'm not authorized to doing the new policy because the user is created as a viewer. And the things allowed for this user. So this user can monitor the events, for example, thread events, but not doing some administrative things. Okay, so I cannot deploy, I cannot do the administrative thing, as I said. But I can go through some policies and see what's happening inside. Okay, so this is about the user. So let's go to system tree and see what we have here. So in system tree, you can make your different departments, maybe different organization units and so on. You can make it manually here, or you can add it by adding your domain infrastructure here. So for this demo, I used my manual deployment. I created my groups, added each user to this. So let's do, for example, now for the user, for deploying a new client. So first of all, we have to come with admin user or the user who has the privilege to deploying the agent. We are coming to this group, for example. We have two types of deployment here. For example, we can make some link here just for MBM ENS. So by this, we also we are supporting Linux and Mac. Let's consider that. So for example, for Windows agent, we can create a special user, special agent, which just sending that host after the installation to this group. It is very specialized for this group. So once we are clicking on this, it is going to download the file. So actually I'm using the automation. I don't know if it is showing it or not, but we can do this another way. For example, copying this and going to the host. Okay. So from here, we can, oh my God, we can download this. So here we go. And this is it. If I'm installing it, it is going to automatically come to here because the agent, the URL is created just especially for this group. We can do this for each one you want. Okay. So let's do the remote deployment. So, and using the domain credential for sure, and see what's happening. Let's go here and check. Yeah, it's started. Yeah, here we go. MacOffice is here already. And in the meantime, we can check this task from server task as well. So as you can see from server task, we can see how we deployed this. It is completed. And here we go. So yeah, let's wait for getting update. We're going back to system 3, going back to this group and see. The client is added here. So we are doing a wake up for this user. So for this client. So what is the wake up? When we are doing the wake up, as you saw here, we are retrieving all the information, all the properties from there, and even also we can enforce the policies to the host. Okay, so 51, and let's see. Yeah, it is exactly very fast. And also from the administration interface, we can come and make some client task over the managed computers as well. So all the computers which has the agent are calling managed hosts. So we are coming to the task. We can add a new task for this special group and make some deployment. For example, we can add the endpoint security deployment for all the computers which can come to this group, special group. And once they come, we are telling them that you have to have receive, for example, immediately. You have to have this task, and you have to have these products installed on your host. So this task is going and deploying the endpoint security over that computers. Okay, so any question? I saw a lot of message in chat.
No, that's mostly me answering.
Oh, you answered. I saw it just right now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just adding more and more for my answer.
Nice. Thank you very
No
much
bother,
for that.
no bother.
Thanks a lot for your support. So also it would be interesting to go through the assigned policies over some special group, for DLP group, for ENS group, or some group called off. This is what I made as an off. So we have some option here that, for example, we want to turn off the security temporarily for a host. We are coming to this group. We are disabling all the policies one by one, and this, then we can just drag and drop the client to this group. And once client coming to this group, getting the update, but first wake up agent communication, then the new policies are going to be installed there, enforced there. So let's go through the policies. So again, thanks a lot to the description provided by Ivan. Let's coming to the endpoint security policies. Actually, let's first coming from the agent. So for the agent, as we saw in the presentation, we have things to be considered here. If we want to use super agent, we have to come to this policy and check this. We have to make this to work with super agent. And also the peer-to-peer is handling from here. By the default, it is enabled, but it prefers to be enabled. This is very helpful to getting a little bit more quick update with all clients. And the updates, what we have in updates, we have some additional things for downgrading the DAT file, and not very complicated place to understand, but this is very important to check this as a log level. So we have to know what log level is required in our company based on the policies we are following. So you can check this to, make it higher, down, and it's up to your policies. Also, this is very important to enabling the self-protection over the agent, to not getting uninstalled or getting corrupted by other third-party things or some threats. Very important to know how to policy enforcement interval getting config from here. It is depend on your policies in your environment, but for example, we can check it to 30 minutes. We can check, we can change the agent server communication for example, 20. And all the intervals are manageable from here, and you can check all of this from this policy, from the agent and general, okay? So repositories. For repository, we have two types of this. Actually, we can add more, as you saw inside of the presentation. We can add new repositories and so on. But the priority can be changed based on the policy you're following. And also, we can use proxy to communicate to these repositories. So I think it's enough for the agent. Let's go to the endpoint security. First of all, let's check the basic things which we are managing from the platform. So on the platform, it is very important to use the password for uninstallation. For doing the uninstall, if we are writing some password here, after the user, some non-privileged user or someone else, trying to uninstalling this product ENS, they will receive a message to writing the password. So we can make this product password protected from here. And also interesting things here is we are changing the logs based on the local, or you can use based on the UTC. We can check the log level. For example, for a period of time, we are doing some diagnostic things, some tracing some logs, some investigating on some kind of threats. We are coming here and we are adding this to these boxes, check boxes, and making, we are improving our logs and making this for to the debug level. Then save and update the policy to the client machine, and we will see all the logs coming back to the ePile also. We will come back to the dashboard and see all of that again. What is the question? Interesting. So again, we have also proxy here to if we are restricted by the communication, we can use our proxy and even the proxy authentication from ENS as well. So it is managed from the EPO and it is going to send to all the clients, and they are following of this. So there is some important thing here. So this setting which you are seeing here is my recommendation to use just for security content, basically security content, to be updated through the client update. So if you choose this one, you will receive even the hotfix and patches. But based on my best practices, I think the security content getting update from here is enough. We can do the patch and some hotfixes from the system tree by doing some new client task to the user. It is more manageable. Let's go to some policies. So endpoint security added the component as a adaptive threat protection. So this is very interesting component of ENS that from here you can even see more deep and digging more inside of the activities by checking from here we are analyzing actually the behavior of the products and some application or software installed on the client machines. So we are by the default we are monitoring all the things here from here, but you can choose a lot of things, a lot of predefined policies here. You can choose each one you want, which is very important for your company. For example, modifying portable executable files. We are just blocking this action, this behavior from here. Also, we can exclude some kind of applications to not being monitored by the adaptive from here as well, even by hash. So let's go to the exactly rule of this. What is the options we have? So from adaptive, we can make different template using different template. So we can use the productivity, we can use the balance and the security. By the security, it is more restricted policy, and vice versa by the productivity. So I chose balance, and let's see what we have inside of balance by a little bit modification actually. So I came here and added some added this checkbox because this is very interesting one. For example, if you are using this feature, if some ransom attack your company and the client, and you're just protected by this feature as well, the files can be encrypted, but going to roll back after a couple of seconds. So this is an internal technology which McAfee, or now Trellix, created, and it is working very powerfully. And based on the detections, for example, from here, we can choose different things to see how it's going to affect. For example, if it is most likely trusted, it can be allow. We can make it from here as well. So most might be malicious getting blocked. Most likely malicious is getting blocked. But we have some message here that, again, this reputation is more than the dynamic application. So we have to just consider all of this. So let's make it from here to not get in conflict with other things. And from the reputation, as Felix just answered, plus Nicholas. So when we are having the tie in our implementation, we have both to use as a reputation, but the first priority is for tie, if we have tie. So we are choosing it here, use McAfee GTI if the tie server is not reachable. Global Threat Intelligence and the Threat Intelligence Exchange. These two are providing us the reputations and the story graph. So we will come back to this again, the story graph. And let's go a little bit faster maybe. So we have also the firewalls. So from firewall, you can, there is a very interesting thing here that calling adaptive mode. For example, we don't know how the client was working before the before us. So we are coming to the system if the system is trusted computer, for example. We are coming to the firewall policy and using this. After using this and keep this one on, it means how it is working. We are making adaptive mode to learning the machine, the machines activities, working traffics, and so on. So we are learning all of this, and we are making the policies automatically inside of that computer. And by using this option, we are asking the agent to keep those rules there. And in this way, we are not making some difficulty for the client. Very useful option. So I added this one even for the network traffic to match as intrusion by GTI. It is optional, you can use, or you can just disable it. And also here, from here you can add your trusted network. For example, time by time, there is some pen test coming to some companies, and the pen testers are asking you to please exclude us to see something intrusive, and so on. So from here, you can just make some exception for them as well from the firewall. So let's go to some rules. There are typical rules here you will see, and even you have a very nice catalog here as well. You can use this as a predefined policies which we have. So you can use all of this, even you can add some new rules by yourself. Very flexible and very elastic for the environments. So the only other component which we have is threat prevention. So in threat prevention, we have a very nice feature as access protection. In access protection, we can just limiting use of some application for some user, but not others. So from here, you can, for example, this one is a custom rule which I created. Let's go to this one and see what I made. From here, you can add some exe file, even by hash, by file name, and see here something you can add the MD5 hash. You can make a wildcard to, for example, any folder and ast.exe, for example. You can use this one, save, coming to sub rule. So this one was really not nice. So, and after that, making some sub rule and telling that this user is not allowed to use this exe file, but administrator can. And also in some sub rule, which I mentioned, we can come to see what kind of activity, what kind of things we are following. So if it's coming to coming to process and doing any access, change, run, we can block this file. We are mentioning the target again here, and we are getting monitored by this feature. Okay, so for this option, we have a lot of things predefined after the installation. For example, disabling the registry editor and task manager. We can do this monitor, and we can do this as by block. Okay. Lots of good policies here. So for the other options, I'm coming from here to be more manageable for you to check. So there is some exploit prevention. So inside of exploit prevention, we are checking the network intrusion by actually it was called host intrusion prevention before, but after the ENS, it is migrated to ENS product, and we are managing all those policies inside of the exploit protection. So from here, you can see the network intrusion prevention as well. So if you are enabling this and you're adding this, the attacker, the computer which attacking you will get blocked for 1 minute. And all the networks are getting monitored by the agent, and we will see the attacks coming or not, and what kind of attacks. You will see this after the policies. I will show you on a real system. So these are the signatures. From here, you can choose different signatures. Here you can filtering this, for example, just maybe disabling the network IPS from here. You don't need that. You have some network IPS in your company, and you don't need this. For example, you can disable it from here. So you can make some exclude. For example, I told you some pen tests are coming to test your company, and you're making some exclusion here. So let's go to actually we have the application protection rules here. You can make your own application protection here as well for maybe your internal company's internal corporative application. So we have on-access scan also. So in an on-access scan, considering that we are using the McAfee Global Threat Intelligence as well, we are using our local engine also. So also we can from here we can just add the level of priority of things and how we are just dealing with some infected files or probably infected files also. From here we can just excluding some exe file which is not necessary to being deleted as well. We can make the severity, we can change the severity as well to getting the less false positive things. And also we can add the detect suspicious email attachments. By this, we are monitoring the attachments inside of the emails as well. So we can add different features to making this more powerful, but compatible with our policies in our companies. So after this, let's see what is on-demand scan. So by on-demand scan, we are making our template, I can say, for our scans, which we are going to send from the EPO. We are sending, we are demanding a scan to the host, and we can make some schedule for this. For example, per week, one full scan on all the computers. There is something very important here to consider how we are affecting over the utilization of the system. So we can change it from here to below normal, normal or low. So also we can just make some option here that just continue your scan when the system is getting idle. So by this option, we can just avoid to interrupt the productivities for clients. So different, as you can see, different type of different templates you're using for quick, for full scan, and even making different template for right click and scan from the host by the user.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
add a bit here, right? So
Yeah.
it's really cool feature when basically we wait until our client will go away from the machine, maybe to get a coffee or to get something else, right? So then we just start the scan when the system is idle, right? So just wanted to highlight a bit more this feature, as Moses mentioned, but still it's really nice to have, if so users won't be affected, right, by your scans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go to this. Actually, we checked it already, I think. Yeah. Yeah, this is just about where quarantine are stored and excluding some detections. Okay, let's go to some action. First, how to make some task, for example, for on-demand scans. So we're coming to where is it? Yeah, custom on-demand scan, for example. So by making this one, we are scheduling a task for doing the custom scan. So from here, for example, I can write, you saw those templates. So from here, I'm making something different by my template. For example, with included, with, for example, MIME. Okay, so from here, I'm choosing this, I'm making a new one, and the scan location, so full computer, making this very high, for example, and just save. After saving this, we are making the schedule from here. So I want to do this scan daily, weekly, monthly, one time, and it's in our hand. So we are scheduling it, and we are controlling the behavior of this task to the system. Okay. This is how we are making a new task. Once again, you will see, for example, this one. We are sending the product update. We can send the product update even manually. So all package, for example, is included with hotfix as well. So now let's go to the access protection, which I already told you. Come back again to this policy and let's see the effect. So what we made here, accessing this file is not allowed for this user, but allowed for this user. Let's come to the host with that user and choose this one. For example, this one. So after we are getting the policy to the system, we will see this error coming. So we are not allowed to use this, but if we use same file by other user, it is allowed. Okay, this is the administrator user. So actually, there is something very interesting here. Maybe you need to see, for example, that error. I want to see that error, which happened just right now. I'm doing the wake up, waiting for new communication. Okay, it is already there. I'm coming to protection, workspace, and let's see. So over the system, what's happened? Yeah, solar putty, it is blocked. So I'm coming to this and watch all the things here, okay? With detail. But there is one more thing here, which we can pay more attention. For example, the TIE reputation, what TIE is doing for us. So we are coming to TIE. We are coming to this one, for example, the solar one. Where is it? Yeah. So the file is reputed as non-trusted. So we can change it. For example, we don't want to use this specific file getting run inside of our environment. So we're making this to most likely malicious, for example. Okay, so doing override, for example, and coming back to this system. So, for example, the new one, the MBM was blocked, but the administrator was allowed to use it. So first of all, we have to update this policy. So we're coming back here and see what's happened. So after we are using this, we know that this file reputation just manually changed. We have to see this even here. You can check this from TIE again, and you will see that this one is here. So, and also we will see this inside of the yeah, again, it is blocked. So one thing I missed, no one mentioned. I forgot to show you the web control. So another component which we are using is web control. So on the web control, we are just doing some basic things for controlling the web surfing. Also, we are allowed to check what kind of browsers are allowed to the user for using. And also, in additional, we have some content control, for example, for anonymizers, anonymizing utilities, for gambling, phishing, malicious sites, and so on. So we can make this kind of policy and getting followed by the user. For example, I'm using the Google Chrome. So the Google Chrome was blocked because the permission said that you are not allowed to use the Google Chrome, but the Chromium is working. So from Chromium or Microsoft Edge, we are coming to some site, for example, root tracker. Yeah, we got error on this crack WS. It is blocked here. Some bet site. Again, it is blocked. I'm going to check some malwares. So for ACAR, maybe you are, you know, this website for testing some antivirus. So we're coming to this, and Okay. Let's check very fast these things. For example, this is in both sides, it is getting error. It is blocked. And also, if it even if it is download, we are blocking it. Okay. So this is what we have on our web control as well, and some example of the tie and some events. So even so actually our time is over, I just mentioned. So I want to make some short things. For example, doing some surfing over the product itself. So this is our agent and this is our application installed here. So this is the ENS. Even from here, you can see some policies if you are allowed to see. Okay, so the events are shown here as well. As you can see, we deleted something, we blocked some URL, our firewall just blocked the root tracker, our web control, some access protection you saw, and let's do something very live. For example, doing some scan to this host and see what's happening. Okay, so the latest event was this, and see what's happened. Our exploit prevention just found this host and the exploit prevention TCP port scan, and it is blocked. Okay, so anyway, you can do a lot of things. Again, you will see it's blocking, no success to any kind of a scan, I can say. And they're getting blocked. And also let me show, for ending this session maybe, let me show you some important things. For example, maybe it's very interesting for you how we are integrating with syslog servers, SIEM products. So we have two types. We can send our, where is it? Okay. We can send our logs by adding them here. For example, let's go to edit and show you this one, for example. So here we go. I have something portable here. As you can see, received it. And yeah, this is what we received for test. Okay. So also, let's check our details with some threats. So for the dashboard, I told you already here. So let's see this one. So for some kind of attacks, we have story graph, I can say. Let's see this one. Okay, so let's try this one. This is some kind of crypto locker. So it's just doing some, this is just for tests anyway. So by running this, we are making some simulation of these things, simulation of some crypto attack, and we can monitor all of this. Yeah, here we go. Here. Okay, so let's update. Going to host, doing some update. Okay. And here we go. This is the attack which we just did with detail, affected device, and a story graphic. You can see how we got this attack, how it is
But
started
how
to
about our
work.
beautiful photos that were encrypted for a few seconds and then decrypted?
Actually, yeah,
That's the coolest part. The
yeah,
coolest part.
the coolest part we just missed because narrow of time. Actually, these are
They were
just
encrypted, right?
decrypted,
for few
already rolled
seconds.
back. Yeah, these are just rolled back. This very fast happened. These are just rolled back. Actually, I can show you with this. For example, this one. We have some demo for this. You can see this. This is what exactly we had there. So same, we are using some pictures. We are using some ransom test and see what's happening with that test. After we're running it, all the files are getting encrypted. So this is WannaCry, as you can see, and we are just waiting till McAfee showing its effectiveness. And after a couple of seconds, you will see all the things are rolled back. Yeah. This is it. Okay. So just one more time to reminding you where it was. It was inside of the adaptive threat protection and here. If this option is on, we have that feature. Okay, so I think I'm done here. And if there is any question, I'm ready to answer. Actually, all the questions just answered by Ivan. Thanks a lot, Ivan, for your support.
No problem. Yeah, it was better to send it to Q&A, but yes, still with chat, it's fine.
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I just noticed maybe some of the questions were only for hosts and panelists, so maybe it's a bit strange if you see my only answers, but no questions. So there was a question about super agent, and there was a question about some software. But yeah, for software, it was for everyone. Only for super agent, it was only directly to hosts and panelists.
And mentioning, if you want, we can just surfing over dashboards or.
I think we're over time,
yeah,
quite seriously now.
So I think it's time to go to second quiz. I think
Yes.
everyone waiting for that. Yeah. So let's go to the most delicious page.
Yes, and we
so
have
here we go.
full enough participants.
Yeah. So question 2, And question 3. What component of ENS is integrating with Trellix Intelligent Sandbox?
ENS is endpoint security.
Endpoint security, yeah. Actually, yeah.
The engine which
Actually, I'm not
well,
repeating this because just, you know, Ivan said.
I know our security engineers always using the abbreviation, so I'm always trying to decipher them.
Guys,
So,
any option?
yeah,
What component of
we are
ENS
waiting.
is integrating with Trellix Intelligent Sandbox? We have one answer from Felix. It's DXL.
Actually, this is a little bit, you know, tricky because I shown this option without describing it. So I'm just reminding you guys, I told you about some feature on this specific policy and product. So if guys, it's a little bit harder, you know, let's, Araik didn't wait and answered. So Araik didn't answer till now because Araik wants this, you know, airbot. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, exactly.
Adaptive
Yes,
threat prevention. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So that was really tricky, man. So yeah, good job. I think we just passed this question. Let's go
Arjan,
to the.
these headphones are yours.
So amazing. That was really fast, man. That was really fast.
See, we have
So,
the listeners who are very curious.
yeah, absolutely. So the question 4, where can we set the policy to block a specific file by hash, path, name, and so on? How we
Where
can
we
block
set
some
the
specific
policy
file?
to block a specific.
So
Don't
this
show
is
the
our, yeah, this is the effects of
Everybody's-
the slide. No
What are
problem, you know.
doing?
Actually, it was 4 answers. So okay, let's do it. Araik, man, did oh yeah. Again, Araik. So let's wait for others. Araik and Garik Tatoyan. Okay. So who else
Guys,
wants to
any
answer?
option?
Not yet. Actually, I cannot read.
Tamara, can you please write it in English?
Exploit, web control,
No.
web control. No. So anyone? Oh, yeah. Okay. Felix Andilian. So you have a lot of gift, dude. Let's pass. So anyway, the first answer was right by Araik. Again, it was access protection.
The configuration part of access protection.
Yeah.
allows-
So you have to decide. I cannot say. That's crazy, you know. So once again, I can show this policy.
Mhm.
Okay.
So this-
So this one was for sandboxing. And brilliant answer by Araik.
we will preserve this gift for a second time because all correct answers have already their gifts, and we will just pass this band to the second session, which will held next week.
We can.
Yes.
And the access polishing policy
let
was
Araik
here.
to choose which present he would like.
Araik, choose which
Yeah.
one you want.
Araik
excuse
already-
I
me.
suggest
Araik
Araik
Excuse me,
to
I am
choose
here.
which present he wants.
Yes, thank you for idea, Anita. Araik, you can choose headphones or a band. Which one?
Both.
You,
Both.
Why not?
you will come next time and win it again. No problem. If you come next time,
Again, win again,
participate
again.
in
No,
this
no,
quiz and win it, it will be yours.
Yeah, we
No
will
pro-
contact.
No problem, Aizada.
We will contact our marketing department. Will contact all the winners.
No problem.
We'll
No
provide
problem.
them the
Thanks.
options
Thanks a lot.
and delivery time. So it was really great. The great questions. I think thank you so much for your efforts, for not only for showing the demo, but also the showing the live demo. Meanwhile, answering the questions in the live mode from Ivan. Guys, you did amazing teamwork. We are so happy and blessed and proud that we have such security technical specialists who are providing so much help in all our projects to all our partners and solving so many tasks and challenges which facing our customers in nowadays where the cyber threats are growing every day. So again, thank you so much for our speakers, to our panel. Thank you for Softprom organizing all this platform. Thank you to all our participants. I hope to see you next week on 29th of November again and again at 6th of December. We will have some fun in our quiz. You will have some opportunity to speak to live speakers on a live demo. And hopefully to see you again in next week. Evgeny, if you have any wrap-up speech, we will be happy to listen it. If Evgeny is not...
I can tell that next session will be about threat intelligence, about some interesting technical hacks, how to find malware,
EDR.
how to find
Yeah.
the EDR techniques, etc., etc. It will be very nice if you participate. I think it will be very useful for you. And also you learned the format of these presentations, how it is going, and can prepare your question for the next session. Just read the agenda, which is public on the site, published on the site, and you can come already with your questions. This will be more engaging and more interesting for you all. And we will have another quizzes, another gifts. So everything is continuing to roll. So guys.
Thanks, everyone.
So
Have a
thank
good
you.
day.
Thank
Once
you.
again, thanks a lot.